Hey everyone, Stephen here with a fresh off the couch reaction to episode 3 of Loki season 2. I have to say, as a midway point episode, this was not as good as the first two episodes. It felt, to me, it felt very much like a placeholder. It felt very much like the middle movie in a trilogy, like the Empire Strikes Back. The purpose of this episode was to get the He Who Remains variant to the TVA. Excuse me. And I'm not 100% sure if he's an actual variant or time is trippy there. Anyway, um, there were a few things that happened in the episode that kind of not necessarily rubbed me the wrong way, but it made it a little frustrating for me. And chief among them was the race component. In this episode, He Who Remains, or Mr. Timely, that was his name.
Yeah,
here.
Victor Timely.
Victor Timely, thank you. Jordan is with me again this week.
Hello.
Victor Timely had much more autonomy and independence and sway than the average black person would have had in 1893. And
I'm so glad I'm not the only one who noticed that.
good, I'm glad, because it was like, how, while I understand that there have been black entertainers for forever, and I also understand that there have been black political leaders and black, for lack of a better word, civil rights activists. I was thinking influencer, but then I thought civil rights activists. Yeah. There have been those kinds of people throughout history. He was at the World's Fair, which is where Chicago, 1893 World's Fair. If he were just an entertainer, okay, but that he held so much, they did not treat him like a black person would be treated in 1893. Not only that, but even more egregiously is you had Renslayer as a single black woman out and about at night by herself in a basically all-white audience watching Victor Timely do his thing. That would have never happened in a million years. And it's interesting that, and I mean, maybe I missed some people, but I'll have to go back and look, but it seemed to me that Victor Timely and Renslayer were the only two black people in this entire episode that were of importance. And even when they went to what was it, 1823?
Like the 1820s.
Yeah, wait. It was like 20 years prior, so it would be 1873, right?
Yeah, it was around that time.
Anyway, there were no black people, except for the child Victor Timely.
I think there was like one other like background black person.
Right.
But that was it.
Right. And they made it seem as if Victor Timely was also a teacher, like when they went over the lake to Wisconsin, to his lab, it also looked like a classroom of some sort, at least to
Yeah.
me.
I definitely
Um,
get like a very much like an like adventure vibe.
yes, and it's like, how did he get all of these things? I mean, it, and also being a scam artist and a charlatan to a huge extent. It just, black people were not allowed that much,
Yeah.
that wide of a berth. They just were not. And it, and especially since this isn't a branch, it is actually the sacred timeline. That's our world. So that tells me that they took basically they took liberties, and it bugged me. Um, so that was the first thing. The um, other thing that I had a problem with is nothing really happened that I didn't see coming a mile away. Like Miss Minutes being romantically attached to He Who Remains. I saw that back in season one. So it did not come as a shock or a surprise to me. Um, what else? Sylvie sends Renslayer and Ms. Minutes to the end of time.
That was a really weird choice.
It was an interesting choice, um, and I'll let you speak on that. I feel like I when Sylvie said, leave Renslayer to me, right? I was sure that there was going to be a fight over her,
Mm-hmm.
as far as, no, we need to take her back too. You know, it shocked me actually that they let her go so easily, especially with Mobius acting as if they're on the same side.
Yeah.
When, it's clear at this point that they're not. Um, but anyway, I thought there was going to be a fight over her. And when it didn't turn out that way, I thought there's no way they're going to let the actress just be in there for one episode, or Miss Minutes be in there for just one episode. I felt like there's got to be more to her than, even when they sent her to the end of time, when Sylvie sent her to the end of time, I thought that can't be the end. And, Miss Minutes, says, I've got a big secret, about you. That was kind of a lame, kind of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But I felt like, okay, at least we know that that's not going to be the end of her. So, um, so for me personally, it was a very mid episode. I'm going to flip this camera around and let for a minute here, since I've been taking up most of the space. Jordan, what did you think of episode 3?
Hello. Honestly, I I liked the episode for the main part. I liked kind of just I liked the time travel elements and the kind of the aesthetic of all the settings they use, but I do kind of feel like they just kind of use the time periods as an aesthetic
Mm,
and nothing more. That
mm,
it was like I don't really I do kind of agree that it's kind of weird given that back then it's like Chicago. I'm not sure how accepting Chicago of a place is, but I guarantee you back then it was not an accepting place for anyone that wasn't white and a guy.
100%.
And like I don't know, maybe I guess in the MCU they didn't have racism. I don't know. I know that's a.
Oops. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. It, yeah, but
Why is this?
just turn it off.
Oh, I know. I know what to do. I know what to do.
But overall, though, I feel like ultimately, if I had to put like one kind of phrase to it, just like it felt like it was 10 minutes too long. If they had ended with Victor Timely, which I gotta say is I love that as a time inventor name. Great, I loved Victor Timely. Um, I feel like if they ended with Renslayer being like dropped out and it was just Victor Timely and Miss Minutes, that would have ended the episode. That would have been like a better ending in my opinion. I honestly was thinking less of like, oh, they're going to have a fight over Renslayer. I was thinking Sylvie's going to kill Renslayer. That was my thought because it's like, why wouldn't she?
100%.
Like, and it's like you didn't even like send them to like where all the to the void. You didn't send them to any like. You literally was like, all right, you want to see the end of time? Here you go, and it's like, what's your plan? Right. It just feels like the writing was like, we can't let them kill Renslayer. Because she has like we just got her back. We don't want to just instantly kill her. I get that. Then why did that scene need to exist in the first place? I genuinely like that's kind of like where I'm at about like it. I think it was a good episode, but I think like the later decisions were just weird. Will say though, I do really appreciate that Victor Timely is awkward as hell. Like I love that
yes.
Like the actor really played off of I'm an introvert and I like hate every second of having to talk in front of an audience, but I care about what I'm talking about. And I was like the million thoughts racing through his head and explains like, yeah, no, that like I really enjoyed that. And like the actor is fantastic. Though I am excited for the next episode, just off the matter of we get Victor Timely in the TVA. That's interesting. That's going to, I think, regardless of what's going to happen, that's going to be fun. But I kind of just like the whole Renslayer at the end of time and like, I got a secret about you is just like, I thought this is like the lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good cliffhanger at all. It's like, you couldn't think of anything better. Yeah.
Like, I genuinely am just kind of, I like the episode. I kind of have to feel like the first two episodes had a great timing. This is the awkward middle child of the series.
Absolutely. And
that's kind of how I like to say like it's the awkward middle child of the series.
Yeah, it's a placeholder. It's a placeholder for the next 3 episodes, and that's fine. Yep. They all can't be great episodes. This one for me was just mid. How many butter pumps would you give it?
Oh, I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Okay.
I would normally say like a 3 out of 5. A fair rating. It wasn't a bad episode. I had fun. I gave it extra 5.5% because it was just kind of cool, like seeing all the little sets, and I really enjoyed the scene of the Norse exhibit
Mm-hmm.
of like Thor isn't that tall.
Yes.
That was like, oh man, any reference to Loki being a Norse god, I'm always on down for. That's always something I appreciate. So my final answer is 3.5.
All right. Well, then I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm going to give it three butter pumps because it's a very mid episode. Lots of elements that I actually liked, like Jordan was talking about the aesthetic, using time as an aesthetic rather than a history lesson. I really loved the aesthetic of the World's Fair and
Oh,
everything that was going
absolutely.
on with that. I loved some of the jokes that were hit, like Thor isn't that tall, um, and a few other things that didn't make this episode a complete waste of time. I'm going to give it three butter pumps. I Before we end, I'm also going to say I don't understand fully why Sylvie is still hunting down any Kang variant that she can, because she has seen firsthand what killing He Who Remains has done. She's seen it firsthand.
Yeah.
So why would she still be on this particular quest? Especially since she knows what Loki already told her, which is if we don't get him back to the TVA, your little branch is gonna be gone too.
Yeah.
So
Say goodbye to Broxton, Oklahoma.
say goodbye to McDonald's.
Yeah.
So I don't and that's the other thing that's been a through line for all three episodes is I don't get her motivation, especially since she already knows what the outcome of that will be. So
Why is Sylvie here?
right, why is she still on this particular quest? It makes zero sense to me. But anyway, we are almost hitting towards 20 minutes, so we're going to end this.
And remember, for all time, always.
Correct. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will be back next week with another fresh off the couch review reaction of Loki episode 4. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for commenting. What did you guys think of it? Let me know down below. And thank you guys so much for subscribing. I will see you in the next one. Bye.